So I'm going to put now, where are we? Just end of April, the overnight, not only the daytime temperatures the next 10 days are great, but overnight temperatures way above 5 degrees. And there's a possible dip then after 10 days. We're going to keep an eye on those nighttime temperatures, but we'll be fine. We're going to put our main larger outdoor colubrid snakes into this outdoor enclosure. They don't hibernate in here because there's only about 12 inches of substrate in their hide box downwards. It's not enough. You need at least 2 foot underground, I think, to be safe. Lots of climbing areas, open top, open to the rain, open to sun if they want to go up there, or the heat through the clear front, the acrylic front. I will cringe as much as you with this, but there's a variety of species from around the world going in here. I'm really up for, cohabbing snakes. I really am. It adds a whole new dimension to keeping snakes, breeding snakes, behaviour of snakes, and so on. Often for the best as well. But it also offers a more detailed keeping, certainly around feeding. Cohabbing same species, no problem. Cohabbing multiple species, and then not even from the same parts of the world, does make me cringe as a bit of a purist. For me, maybe just the pair of Russian rat snakes in here, or the pair of 4 line snakes in here. But this is for public education, on view to the public, and there's going to be a handful of different adult colubrids in here. And yet, if the public are lucky, they might get to see 1 or possibly 2 out at any one time. The 4 lines tend to sunbathe first thing in the morning and then become quite disappeared, and they're a big calm snake, but they do seem quite shy like that. The Russians, they're great because they're so cold tolerant. Just a glimmer of sun on a cold morning, they'll be right up there sunbathing. And the blue beauty snakes, they're very much the same actually. They're out if it's colder, getting sunshine. And of course, when it is warm, like most snakes, they soon go underground and disappear until the evening, early morning. Most snakes don't like being out in the full heat. And then we're going to try our male black rat snake. He was in a lower, fully open enclosure. And if you watch the channel, you'll know he changed colour. I didn't know what was wrong with him. And he actually got badly sunburnt. We're going to try him in here. But if I catch him out for more than just a cool morning up there sunbathing, he's actually going to go back indoors. He was albino, no pigment. I didn't think about it at all. No pigment, like a fair-skinned person. Check out this video. But he got badly burnt. Something, not by a heater, burnt by the sun, changed his colour, became freckly, and it's always stayed like that. So I do want him to come outdoors because he thrives. I don't want to find him constantly up where he's getting the sun. Sun through the front, through glass and acrylic, that's a completely different thing, because the UV rays are reflected by most glass, unless it's special glass and acrylic. It takes away a lot of that, but direct sunlight, not good if you haven't got any pigment. Obvious when you think about it, not so obvious until it happens. So we're going to try them in there, see who comes out, see who does what. Let's have a look at them going in, back outside. They've all done this before. Back outside until the frosts start to sort of come around October, November. Then they'll be artificially brumated in a place where I know they won't actually freeze. So here they are. This snake was just almost white with pale markings. Can you believe it? A snake. People even argued with me that I was lying and this is a morph. So this snake here, this male bull snake, you can see his original patterning on the side, but darker. This freckling has now stayed since last year from sunburn. How weird is that? So let's see how he goes. He's a big old male bull snake. See how he goes. We're going to observe his habits of sunbathing. If he sunbathes down here like I'm expecting, no problem. That sun will be coming through the front glass and very much lacking in harmful UV. If he sunbathes up there, then he's going to go back indoors if that's his regular habit. So all of this colouring, all of it, is post sunburn. You can see how bad some of that sunburn was just there. That was a deep scarring, not from a heat source, from sunburn. Quite a phenomenon that I'd never give any thought to until it happened. But when you think, it is so obvious, isn't it? Just think of a fair-skinned person, how much they burn compared to a dark-skinned person. So he's in there. Let's see how he goes. The male Russian rat snake next. I've paired these guys up, the male and female again this year. Haven't seen any mating. I don't think she's gravid this year. I'm going to keep her indoors for a bit longer. But this beautiful Russian rat snake. No yellow on this guy. And he spent last year living out here. No problem at all. And away he goes. Lots of different habitat for them to disappear into, but there's the main hide is there, full of deep queer chips. So the European four-line snake, we've got eggs running for these. Those eggs and young should have been snaffled up already, just the fact they're there. I've got a couple of people on the waiting list, and yet last year you almost couldn't give these kinds of colubrid snakes away in the UK. What a travesty that the UK snake market has just collapsed from 2 years ago when we had that massive electricity hike, which is now not too bad at all. But people panic, people are poor, times are hard. So producing European four-line snakes in the UK that last year sat around for ages. What a beautiful species. The way that one goes. And here's the female. We'll let her just slither away. They're familiar. We haven't really changed this around since last year. This will be quite familiar to them. Probably still some faint odour of them, I don't know. Pond area. Important to put lots of plants in your pond. I do flood it out, but generally the plants are filtering it. I will run the hose in there and let it all overflow now and again. So away they go. I'll reset this thermometer, maximum and minimum thermometer. Very important thing to have, I think, if you're keeping, whoa, thunder, if you're keeping outdoor reptiles, because at the end of the day you really want to know what it peaks at, really in the shade, and what it drops down to. Don't rely on the weather forecast for sure. So we'll see. I've got to say, I may be wrong. Looks like it needs a new battery already, and it's a brand new one. So away they go. We'll come back and check them out. They'll explore. But remember, cohabiting, especially multiple species in a large enclosure, you have got to monitor the feeding. Not so much that they all get food. You'll see a snake if you think that's looking lean, and you can always do something about it. More that they don't squabble over the same bit of food, and one snake doesn't accidentally swallow the other snake. And that happens even with non-Ophiophagous species. It's just an accidental. One's bigger than the other, one keeps swallowing, the smaller one doesn't let go, and a long bit of spaghetti goes down the hatch. So they'll love this, and you can imagine, compared to your average indoor box, wild plants, real wood, real soil, a pond they can almost swim around in, I guess, and the height that they don't often get indoors. This is 7 feet high, and of course, more important than anything, in many ways, not just rain, but real live sunlight, producing the lighting and the heating, and that really important ability that makes them much more active than indoors of thermoregulating, because they very often do have to climb up to there to get that first early morning sunshine, which is probably the most important for many a diurnal, and he said raptor then, a diurnal reptile. So I'm going to go and get one more log, which I'm probably going to put over there, or possibly here, just to bridge that a bit easier. We'll shut them up, you'll see them go. They're all incredibly well fed. I'm not going to feed these for 2 or 3 weeks now, probably. Just see how they get on, and wait for those nighttime temperatures to really rise. So that's when they're much more active, when the nights are warmer and the days are warmer. Cold nights, they'll often come out, but often won't feed. Unless they're wide open top, I wouldn't put them where they're going to get full summer sun all day until sort of 8 o'clock at night. You've really got to think about the heat and the ventilation. So smaller things like these aquariums that have been drilled, bottoms have been drilled with a tile drill, wire gauze put over that, stone over that, so it drains well, it doesn't ever flood or fill up with water. It's still a small glass box, and glass boxes heat up more than anything else. So you do need not a few holes drilled in a lid, you do need a full mesh lid. If it's not made of wire, hold on, my door's about to slam. If it's not made of wire, rats will find their way in, and they will kill most of your animals unless they're big animals, speaking from experience. So this kind of thing, you've got to make sure you've got a full mesh lid. And equally, really, a metal box. So these are recycled. This is a recycle. What you can do with recycled containers for outdoor enclosures. This is a metal box with a plastic front. Heats up well. You've got to have, not only has that got a metal lid, but it also, the sun goes off this probably by about 4 o'clock in the afternoon in midsummer. So it doesn't just keep cooking. And you do need these cooler areas for sure. So just bear that in mind. Outdoor enclosures, anything to do with glass or clear plastic especially, you will end up with a possibility to cook things, just like if you put an aquarium or a small reptile enclosure made of glass on a windowsill that gets full sun. Everything will overheat and die. So bear that in mind. Masses of ventilation, really important, really important. You know. So here we are the next morning. Russian rat snakes up there, sunbathing, looking great. And you've just missed a 4-line snake laying on that front edge. And as soon as I got the camera out, it was away, as they do. Whereas a Russian rat snake won't be fazed by anything apart from too much heat. Looking good, so really good to have that height, thermoregulation. A real choice for those animals. There's 3 pool frogs in here. They're in here because they were where the sand lizards were. And I hadn't decided what to do with them. And I didn't want them to eat my baby sand lizards. Look at that. So there's 3 of those in there. Very shy. But they've been in that all winter long. Meanwhile, the great crested newts are wrestling rather oversized worms. Lee Brindley's channel, UK Crested Newts. If you're on YouTube, go, and we are on YouTube, you're watching this. UK Crested Newts. He breeds pretty much every species and subspecies, I think. of crested newt across Europe, as well as all kinds of morphs of common frogs. So check that channel out if that's your thing. And of course, these British subspecies are bred from pre-1981 specimens, with a paperwork trail taken back to before that 1981 change in the Wildlife and Countryside Act, which prohibited you taking and keeping these from the wild. So do not take and keep these from the wild. It's just not worth it when people like Lee are breeding them in captivity, and they're far from expensive things to source. Even his more unusual newts, and if you check out that UK Crested Newts YouTube channel, my goodness, you will see some stunning species of newts that are found across Europe. Beautiful. There's the female lurking at the back there. Now, something that, much like a reptile, these pretty much brumate under the sandy substrate all winter. I don't feed them for several months of winter, really. And now those temperatures are warming, these young eels are back out foraging. I say I don't feed them. I'm sure some of the bigger ones have probably eaten some of the really skinnier ones. There's a huge variety of sizes. We only need a few really, I guess, to grow out, but fascinating things. And of course, a species that's gone from ultra common in Britain and Europe to on its knees. So very handy to have to talk about these. You know, the rainforests need our help. But you know what? Wherever you live in the world, there's tangible species of animals, possibly even garden animals, like hedgehogs, that desperately need local conservation. We're very difficult with birds and species of fish like this that migrate to vast areas of the planet way away from where we see them at home, because we have no control over their various other habitats across the globe. So very difficult things. It's all great doing stuff for a certain species of bird conservation in England, but if it spends half of its year in somewhere in Africa and en route has to fly over places that are treacherous for it, very difficult form of conservation. And as with birds, people have started tagging eels and things to find out what they do, where they go, and what they get up to on their breeding journeys. And we still know an awful lot. We still lack an awful lot of knowledge about Anguilla, our European eel, for sure. I can tell you now, they've gone from little glass eels into big chunky creatures, some of them. Well, hardly big, but bigger. And these are all caught and came to us gifted from a licensed fishery, one of the very few glass eel fisheries left and licensed here in the UK, not to end up on someone's plate. Three-spined stickleback, another species that's, don't eat my tadpoles, another species that's gone from incredibly common in Northamptonshire in England, where I live as a boy, to very much the opposite. I have seen two little populations local to my house this spring, so I've been really chuffed to see wild sticklebacks. I can't emphasise how three-spined sticklebacks were there was just in every bit of water in Northamptonshire when I was a kid. Silted up city pond, town pond, duck ponds to clear flowing rivers, every habitat. And then they all vanished in a mix of disease, fish lice. They became absolutely plagued by fish lice and fungus and disease, and just vanished nearly everywhere. So again, another species great to have. These are bred in my garden pond at home. Another species to have, to just get people thinking about local wildlife, stuff they can tangibly help in many cases. Beautiful creatures. The males, sadly these are all females. The males in breeding dress are as beautiful as any tropical fish. Three-spined stickleback. Probably be good if we could get some nine-spined sticklebacks too. The only other freshwater species found
in the UK.